Welcome to Stars Podcast. Through self-defense, mixed martial arts, nutrition, family, and all things in between, we share our journey of how we hack our mind and body to get the maximum return out of each day. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the journey. Hey guys, welcome back to Stars Podcast, your growth mindset mecca. This is your host, Ron Jordan, coming at you from Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, PA. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Ron Jordan over here, Stars Podcast. Hey, thank you guys so much for the awesome response on the t-shirts, the sweatshirts. We raised a ton of money for Dress for Success, so my hat is tipped to each and every one of you who donated, who bought, everything. Even if you're just sharing our message out here, man, you have no idea how much that means to me. So guests coming up are going to be focused on something a little bit more unique. It's going to take a little bit of time for me to get this project completed. I'm still going to be keeping up with the Daily Growth Mindset blog. It will be less than daily, I fear, as my training continues to ramp up. But it will be worth the wait. I'm targeting summer to release the new season of the podcast. It will be season 3, and it's going to be focused on something a little bit more unique. As I continue down this journey of more or less immersive journalism, I'm starting to understand a little bit more about the viewership and what people are watching, what they're not watching, sort of some trends that I'm seeing. And now that I'm a part of Clubhouse, I've been leveraging that and creating new relationships with people through that. And really where I see this going is more of an aged infrastructure. What that means for me is I'm going to be talking with folks who have been through the grind, are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, older than me. Probably going to be in that more 50, 60, 70 range, because as I near, I'm looking at 35 this year, and that's something whenever we get to those round numbers, 35, 40, 25, other than 21, everything is round after that, that we look forward to, and we start reevaluating. And I've been reevaluating, and I'm happy with where I'm at, but those who have been 35 before and can kind of see where trends go from a macro standpoint, I think there's a lot to be learned from an older generation. So keep your eye out for that coming out. We also have the store coming up on thestarspodcast.com, so check that out. You can get that swag there. We have a couple t-shirts left, 2 large sweatshirts at the moment. Again, we are up and coming on the website on that, but if you want to order one, just shoot something over to me now. Also, we have the Goggins challenge, the 4x4x48 this weekend, and I got to be honest with you, I'm about as prepped as I'm going to get from a cardio standpoint. I'm good to go. It is cold again, which I'm not pleased with, but whatever. Embrace it. Embrace the suck, as they say, and we're going to enjoy the journey. I'm not raising any money for anything this time around, but I will be posting a lot. I'm trying to drum up some awareness just around the Stars Podcast, trying to get the focus a little bit further back onto the podcast and highlighting some journeys of other folks. Not so much I'm going to be highlighting others that are doing the 4x4x48 in the posts. So if you are joining me for any of it, that would be awesome. If you could tag me in your posts, that would be cool. If you are not going to be joining me, if you could just share our posts, that would be even better, if I'm being honest. So I want you to get out there, and I want you to do what you need to stay physically healthy, but honestly, just sharing the posts, you have no idea how much that does just for the algorithm to get us into other avenues. Speaking of lifting people up, if you have not already seen my posts about talking about other people and their journeys, Bearded Snuggles Gaming, make sure you go and follow him. And also Canis Vulpus, he is another one of my buddies. They're both trying to do some gaming on a more more real basis being like they're putting in some serious hours into their craft, and honestly they're fun to watch. So if you're into Call of Duty, make sure you go check those guys out. Again, that's Bearded Snuggles Gaming and Canis Vulpus Gaming. Here's what I wanted to talk about today, and it's more about eating humble pie. And I'm not one to like, hey, you make mistakes and you got to eat humble pie and be all philosophical about it. But I've noticed something that I've done on a consistent basis when I make mistakes, and what I do is I react too quickly. And what that's gotten me into is shooting off emails, owning mistakes that really weren't mine, even though, I know through extreme ownership that just owning a mistake is a super easy way to just cut through all the bull and figure out a solution. But it lets other people off the hook too much, in my opinion. And that's something that I'm struggling with, is not everybody is extreme ownership quality and they get away with things. So what do I do with that? Do I just let it happen? Do I let their mistake go unnoticed? That's what I'm doing. So my new strategy right now, I'm just going to run you through sort of what happens to me when I do make the mistake, because I immediately think, well, no, couldn't be me. There's no way. I spent enough time on it. I went through and I was very diligent, because one of my weaknesses are spreadsheets, like those little cells in there, and trying to figure out, like picking out the numbers. It's like working on a crossword puzzle on the hardest level possible. Like I don't understand why my brain just doesn't get it. You stick me in front of 1,000 people, and I'll try and juggle and solve a Rubik's Cube. But you stick a simple spreadsheet in front of my face, and I feel like probably what those people feel like in front of a group of people. My neck starts to get hot, my mouth goes dry, my ears get hot, and I immediately have this scowl on my face. I can tell you it's on there, because people who look at me are like, if they could run away any faster, they probably would be an Usain Bolt type of behavior. I catastrophize the entire situation, honestly. I immediately go to the fact, or not even a fact, but I go to, in my head, you're an idiot. You got some brain disease. Like, you can't do this. You have no idea what you're doing. Sound familiar? I mean, I think we all suffer from some sort of imposter syndrome. Like, everything that you're doing seems easy to you, but an outsider looking in is like, how can this guy even be upset at all? Like, he's totally on a fast-moving track. And yes, that is true, but when that fast-moving track gets tripped up because of a penny, it's like, it's devastating. Because it completely stops me in my tracks and ruins all of my momentum that I had going forward. So I don't have a brain disease, obviously. That's something. But what I needed to do was I needed to verbally explain it to my wife. I needed to explain to her what had happened, because as soon as I walked in the door, because I had come back from dropping B off at TKD, it was like, immediately I had an attitude, and she knew I had an attitude, so she was like, what's up? So I immediately told her what was going on, and she said, well, go figure it out, because she knows that I'm not going to be able to do anything else until I figure it out. That's just how I am. And so I get in my computer and I figured out what I did, and I owned it. I immediately started sending the emails. I was a little bit cooled down at this point, so that was good, but I was able to work through it. But when I came back upstairs, I was like, man, I'm just such an idiot. I must have some sort of brain disease. Like, I can't even do these spreadsheets right, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you're not being helpful at all to yourself. So again, that's self-care. I wasn't being self-care at all. I didn't care about who was behind the wheel right then. It was like we were going to beat this guy down because he made a mistake. And it's like, you got to give yourself a little bit more leeway than that. So moving forward, what I'm going to do is I need to slow down, just like I've said before. And the mantra is, you're not dumb. You're smart. You're not going to lose their business. Slow down. They have done business with you because they like the solutions you sell. Stop making this a big deal. You have dealt with these issues from others? Yeah. Okay. Well, you're not so different. People make mistakes every single day. Also, where else do they go for your solutions? Hard to replace you. You're entrenched. Be humble. You're fine. Own the mistake after your ears are done being hot and your stomach can tolerate eating. We live to fight another day. Now, that's the mantra that I want to live by. But man, in the moment, it's going to be hard. And I hope I don't have a mistake today to try it out. But that's a story of me eating some humble pie. Here's another cool story that I heard the other day. And it's funny how these stories sort of come to you whenever you're listening. So hear me out. A doctor was operating on a young girl who had O negative blood type. The hospital was out of that blood type with none that would be readily available. The doctor turned to the family for help. Luckily, the young girl's brother was a match. After clearing with the parents, he donated his blood to his sister. For some reason, he was put out for this blood being drawn, from what I remember of the story. So when he woke up after giving his blood to his sister, he asked the doctor, "Is this heaven? Am I dead?" The doctor replied, "Why would you be dead? You just gave some blood." The boy replied, "Because I gave my blood to my sister." Now, I also heard a quote from my wife, who found it on Kat Arnett's Twitter feed. And it says, and the blog itself was saying, what is something that you learned during this quarantine? And this is something that Kate Arnett learned. There are two types of people. Those who believe in doing what's best for everyone, even if it means personal sacrifice. And those who see their own inconvenience as unacceptable no matter what. Listen, I don't care how many mistakes I make in life. I just want to embody so much what this little boy did for his sister and what this quote speaks to me about. Selfless empathy is a key to unlocking a lot of potential in our lives. Hashtag enjoy the journey. This episode is brought to you by Valor Personal Defense Group. Self-defense is a perishable skill. Only through continuous and consistent training will one be able to effectively employ a skill set that they have learned. Valor Personal Defense Group system is designed to offer constant, consistent, and affordable training opportunities for all individuals wanting to learn and stay sharp. We keep our firearms courses affordable to facilitate our continuous training philosophy. Now listeners of Stars Podcast get 15% off any firearms course with coupon code STARS21. That's STARS, STARS 21, which you can book at valorcombatacademy.com. Also brought to you by Fuzzy Monkey Coffee. You may think you are drinking good coffee, but are you really? Fuzzy Monkey Coffee Company challenges you to buy a bag of our specialty fresh roasted coffee with an exclusive Stars Podcast discount. Visit www.fuzzymonkey.com and enter STARSPOD15. That's STARSPOD 15 at checkout and get 15% off any bag of coffee or a single serve pod. Our light, medium, and dark roasts from all over the world will suit anyone's taste buds. Visit www.fuzzymonkeycoffee.com and enter STARSPOD15. Listen, I've been drinking this since the summertime, and I personally like the Squirrel Monkey. I don't like a lot of the flavored coffees out there, and they roast their own beans over at Fuzzy Monkey. And if you get them, I recommend getting fresh bean, not grinded, and grind it yourself. We are also brought to you by Orange Mud Ambassadors. Orange Mud's sole purpose is to adventure and explore, and they just so happen to make the gear to help with that. From nutrition, training, and more, the resources Orange Mud provides is insane. If you're looking for some outdoor running or hiking gear, hit up orangemud.com, and at checkout use FF15 JORDAN for 15% off your next purchase.
So the journey has begun. If you guys listening to our content today had any kind of value or you were moved in any way, please feel free to subscribe, pass it on, let everybody know that these two guys are the truth. They're out here just trying to do good things to make good people. Thanks.